everybody. Well, everybody. Hi there, friends. Let's say that. Welcome to the Karen Cares channel. My name is Dana. I am coming at you live from Philadelphia. I am checking in today about a couple different topics. Figured I'd keep it light. It's Friday afternoon. My kids are done school. They are outside playing. I saw on my weather app yesterday that today was going to be 55 degrees and rainy. And it is like 70 degrees in the sun, and it has been bright and sunny ever since the kids got done school, which is like such a blessing because to have the kids, oh no, shit, I don't even think I got my mic on. I don't, oh no, all that. Sorry guys, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, if you can give this video a thumbs up, I'm going to edit out the first 40 so seconds of that. Welcome again to my channel. My name is Dana. I initially started this channel as a anger outlet because I was upset over the shutdowns and what they were really doing to kids and elderly and drug addicted and working poor and business owners and restaurant workers who are certainly not like the upper, the 1%. Anyway, today in Philadelphia, it is gorgeous. Officially, it is 69 beautiful degrees and sunny outside. I am coming at you today to talk a little bit about Kamala Harris to start. I had never heard of Kamala Harris before 2016. She started to kind of come on the scene politically enough that I started to take notice of her. As far as I knew, she was she was a female senator from California who had been a district attorney. And some of the scandals I had known about in terms of what she had said about keeping prisoners in longer than they should have been because they were cheap labor. I did know from my sister-in-law about the scandal with the Catholic Church and the cover-up of pre-sex abuse and the large campaign contributions she got from the Catholic Church despite not being Catholic at all. In fact, very much following her mother's Hindu faith, and somehow received all this money from the Catholic Church, and suddenly the Catholic Church sex scandal in her city went away. So I knew those two things. That was it. In terms of like her personal life, the media did a pretty decent job of scrubbing that out. And for the most part, I would agree with that. But we do drag men through the mud for their sexual partners too. We talk about Trump, all of his marriages. We talk about, what's his name with the Chinese spy? Oh God, I can't even remember his name. The guy with the Chinese spy. I hear kids coming, so I'm going to keep it PG for a second. We know about the Kennedys' affair with Monroe, even back then. I mean, we knew which presidents were players and had a lot of ladies, and we knew which presidents were family men and men of, maybe stronger faith and stronger moral character, more traditional Judeo-Christian values. I don't know how to put it. So, I mean, to say that we can talk about a woman politician's sexual history is really unfair because the truth of the matter is that we do talk about men's sexual history and when we talk about their role in politics. And I think the reason we do that is because it does speak to somebody's level of personal integrity. All that being said, I didn't know anything about Kamala. So some of the things I just learned yesterday when I started reading the book. And I think probably the most interesting thing that I found was that she started dating Willie Brown when she was 29 and he was 60. And he was married and he still is, and apparently still alive as of 2020. So God bless him. It's been a shit year. So I don't know anything about her personal history. Reading this book has just been really enlightening. I heard some things about the way she got to the top. Now, I can't speak to if that's the only reason she rose to prominence. She's also a very smart woman. She's obviously calculating. She's obviously someone who strives for power and for dominance, and I think that we do not, as a society, tend to look favorably upon those attributes in women. So I think it's easy for some people to discuss her sexual history and to automatically go into like dragging her down for it. And I just don't think we're going to do that here, even though I'm going to try and read the book. I want to get into it just a little bit. I want to see what happens. I also have, it's Women's History Month, so we can get into Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren if you like. But this is the book. It's called Profiles in Corruption. The live that I did yesterday actually includes a link for the book from a website called Goodreads, which had a really good price on it, just as good as, the big box competitors where they're opening up these factories that are going to end up being completely automated in the very, very near future. Let's not support those companies. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm sure Goodreads is probably a subsidiary of one of those damn companies anyway, but I will include a link when I'm done here if anybody wants to read the book. If any of you are following and are local and are just interested in reading the book for a little bit, let me know. We can set up a time to hand it off, or I can drop it at your porch. If you're COVID nervous, you're probably not here. You're probably not following my channel at all. And that's okay. I am not COVID scared, but if you are a little bit nervous, I will be happy to wipe this book down for you and place it on your porch, and you can do whatever you like with it and return it. So I'm going to get into a little bit more about Kamala Harris. That's what I know about her. That's what I knew about her before this. So I don't have any real preconceived notions of her. I'm really, I do, however, picture myself as a 29-year-old. And what I will say, I know there's only one person watching. Perhaps one person will be watching later. I did date someone who was significantly older than me. So I don't necessarily fault Kamala for that. It's a little weird to me that the guy was married and that the wife stuck around. That there were multiple political and social engagements where both his wife, Willie Brown's wife, and Kamala Harris were there. I think that really speaks to, you're willing to present yourself as the second fiddle, the other woman, the third wheel. You're willing to present that persona in public. And I think that speaks a lot to someone's personal integrity. So this is not about, this is not an age thing. It's not a sex thing, sex, male and female, biological sex, however you want to talk about that. It's it's kind of about the way that presents. It's an ugly way to present yourself, and she was okay with it. She certainly could have been successful on her own, from everything that I'm reading about both her upbringing and her own rise to politics before she met him. It sounds like she was well on her way, and she really didn't have to do that. So it's like, it feels like from the standpoint of an empowered woman, it feels like a little bit of a letdown that she presented herself in that way. So like, I'm not feeling that part of it right now. I dated someone who was older than me. I see the appeal. Someone that is established, there's a level of certainty, I guess, that's there that you don't find with someone who's maybe your age or younger, particularly now in today's climate, when a lot of times we have women who are more highly educated, making more money than their mates, or have better jobs than their mates, or provide the main income, provide the job, and provide the health insurance benefits, and all of those things. So I get the older man thing. I really do. And I even get appealing to someone in a position of greater power and presenting with them in order to kind of ride their coattails. I almost kind of get it. And I wouldn't exactly fault her for it, because I think that's how we, all people come to be known by being known by other people who are better known. This is just the way it works. So I hate that she used a sexual relationship to do that, though. It feels very demeaning. It feels like she could have done more. On a lighter note, today is a beautiful day. I see chemtrails in the distance. It's really, they're not even trying to hide it anymore. I hear steps. Hi, baby. What's going on?
Nothing.
What's going on? Put your shirt on. Come here. No, just do that. You can wrap this on the front of you and then just tie it. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah, no, I can just put it on.
There you go. That would be easier. I have Grace here. Grace is my lovely second grader. She has had a great week at school. She had a little bit of a tough time Sunday night, kind of readjusting to the fact that Monday was going to be, like a really full, heavy schedule. Monday and Tuesday are her days. I'm going to try and adjust our camera a little bit so that we can see you better. Hi, baby. But then after Monday, she really fell into a good rhythm, and she's been doing great and having a great week ever since. So what's up?
Nothing. I just stopped home to get a water.
Stopped home to get a water, hang out with Mom, see what's going on, how it's gone, how it's been, how they hanging. Daddy's coming home soon. My husband spent the night at our house last night to get done a lot of work because he is one hard-working fella. And to get some sleep. So we are looking forward to his imminent return. As my pastor would say about the Lord. That's not what I'm comparing to. It's just, I think the wording came to me from Pastor Joe.
No, lipstick.
Is what thank you. Yes, it is and was. And I was planning on getting it off afterwards so that I didn't smudge it all over the wall. But now that you've done that, I'm going to go ahead and do my best. If you open the big cabinet, not where the drawers are, but the big cabinet.
There's like 12 cameras.
Okay, look. You know where Mommy keeps her clothes? Look, eyes. Where Mommy keeps her clothes in the front bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
You know how there's like all the drawers, but then there's a cabinet that opens like this? Where I keep my medicine, where I keep...
Oh, like the one where...
Yes.
Yeah.
On the shelf there's a white jar with a pink lid, and it's eye makeup remover. And that's what I need to try and get this off. I accidentally smudged lip liner on the wall here, and it's flat paint, so I'm hoping that just like a little bit of makeup remover will help. But my daughter definitely just was like, what's that? And smudged it all down the fucking wall. Yes, thank you. That's perfect.
I'll just leave it here just in case you smudge more makeup.
So what do you guys want to talk about while you watch my jiggly arm? Usually I would have this arm much more built, but I've not been bike riding at all because the weather's not been nice. And then I took my bike home thinking, I'm not going to go bike riding because like, when am I going to have time to bike ride? And then the other day I had time to bike ride but I didn't have my bike. So I said, okay, I'll take my dad's bike because it's the same size, but then there's no air in the tire of that one. So I was like, okay. Trying to get on the bike. So then I got on my oldest daughter's bike. Oh, that's a matte lipstick. That's going to be pretty drying. I don't know that I'd go with that one. I wish you'd have told me. You can put this, which is like really just like a gloss over top of it. But it's real moisturizing. It's pretty on its own. It's just like a lip stain on its own. Anyway, me and the kids have been getting into makeup, obviously. This is the first time I've done something known as color correcting, which actually shows up kind of nice on camera, although obviously there's some like color adjusting stuff going on here in terms of the lighting. Anyway, just started playing with makeup about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was always pretty basic Betty, basic Brenda, whatever you want to call it.
Brenda Betty.
No, basic Becky. That's what it is. I'm pretty basic Becky.
What kind of sweating?
One of my favorite YouTube makeup artist, Jamie French, basic Becky. So it's pretty basic Becky with makeup. I mean, eyeshadow, a little line of eyeliner, and like just the line, and some shadow and mascara and possibly lipstick, and powder. No foundation, no nothing on the face. I'm done. But really over the pandemic, got kind of bored and started following this one girl on YouTube, Bailey Sarian, who does her makeup while she tells real life murder mystery stories. And for some reason, that was just so captivating. I think partially because she is so beautiful. Like she naturally has the beauty and the proportions that make up what the perfect face is. So like no matter what colors you put on her, no matter what, like it's going to look beautiful. So you just watch her kind of do this, and that's mesmerizing. And the whole time she's telling this really complicated story. So anyway, it just sucked me in. It just totally sucked me in. And so, and then, it's like, how long can you watch somebody sit there and do your makeup before like, I wonder what my skin would look like foundation. What is sculpting? Why would you color correct? That seems like an unnecessary extra step. Well, here I am doing my makeup every day, and now the kids are getting in on it. So, like, I have a rule about you can't go outside with makeup on, and my 11-year-old is fighting me. Now, I remember not being allowed to wear any makeup outside until I was 13. So, my question for anybody that is watching or listening, if you could, please help feed the algorithm monster. Like this video, and then answer this question. How old were you, or how old will your children be when you allow them to begin to go outside with makeup on? And do you have limits in terms of, you can play with, like, for example, sometimes on, like, if we're going out, if we have like a special, not even a special event, but let's say we're going out to eat. I might let them play with a little bit of very light pastel eyeshadows, pinks and golds and bronzes and silvers, like those kind of colors. And I'll let them play with the eyeshadow. But it's like they just put the shadow on. It's not sticking to any base, none of that. So like I have limits, and it's not always a hard no. Of course, somebody is ringing my doorbell. Is this for real? I think in a minute. I'm going to give it a minute and see if it rings again because I'm just not going to get into it. So I started watching all these makeup tutorials, and now I completely lost my damn train of thought because the doorbell rang, and I don't know who or why. I don't know who it is or why we're doing, but I'm just going to leave it. Not my house. So I don't technically have to answer it, I guess. Is that how that works? Yeah, okay, so then let's get into the book a little bit. I think I was going to initially talk... Oh, crap, it's ringing twice. I'll be back. Because the reason you should have come downstairs and come upstairs. Now do what you should have done, Erin. Properly and politely.
I was wondering if I could go to Boyle with Melina.
Yes, you can. But see, the fact that you rang the doorbell and then I had to walk away is the problem. Because I told you before you left, did I not? Yeah. I said I'm going to record and not to do this. Precisely what you just did for a change. And whenever I tell my children not to do something, they will inevitably do exactly that thing. Every time. So don't have 3 children if your plan is to say things and think that they'll listen to you, because it's not ever going to happen. I'm so over it. I wonder if Kamala has any kids. I bet she don't. She does. She has 1. Let's see. You want to Google this? This is an interesting thing. I don't know. Now we'll see. Does Kamala Harris have any children? Ready? I don't know if Kamala Harris has any kids. Okay. No children. No biological children. I'm going to say so. Okay, so here you go. This is how this is going to have to go. I've said this for a long time, and this will likely get me kicked off of any platform I plan on being on. So I'm going to have to just assume that that's going to be the case. And decide that I'm not going to let that bother me at all. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Kamala Harris. And you know what? Like, I didn't read anything. I didn't get to the point where she marries her husband yet. So I didn't get to the point where she doesn't have any children of her own. And that she has stepchildren. Okay. All right. Beautiful. I'm about to make a whole lot of friends with this, I'm sure. I'm telling you, babe. I'm telling you, babe. So I'm about to throw an opinion out there that's not going to make me any friends anywhere I go. Kamala Harris. I've been talking a little bit on my channel about, I've been reading this book, Profiles in Corruption. I have links to my YouTube channel where I have links where to buy this, like not from Jeff Bezos and other like places. Kamala Harris just realized she never had children. Why is this relevant? Because, you know what? I'm a doula. And I study women and women's health, and I have been for the last 10 years. I've had a number of health problems, a number of issues related to the health of my children, breastfeeding, developmental concerns, a whole slew of things and incidents that have led me to completely not believe in the medical system anymore. That being said, I spend more time with my nose in books and documents than most people can imagine. So go ahead and say, oh, why'd you find it on Google? Because unless you found your shit using the Dewey Decimal System, going down to your local library and photocopying it, I don't know what the hell you people want me to do. Anyway, something happens to a woman when she doesn't have children. And I'm not saying it happens to every woman, because I know women for whom it has not happened in this way. At this point, I'm obviously making generalizations, not certainties. These are not all people, not all women, okay? Not all women over, let's call it 40 or 50, like the age when childbearing would be optimal, let's say. Now, I think it's wonderful that Kamala Harris has decided to be an active and loving stepmom for those children. That's great. I don't think we need to drag them or her for that. What I'm saying is something biologically happens to women when they do not, for whatever reason, go through the biological process of having children. The reason is, let's break this down simple. There is a surge of hormones after birth. Oxytocin is a hormone known as the love hormone. Oxytocin is the hormone that you feel when you met your husband or wife and you had those like butterflies in your stomach just kind of floating around, and every time you thought of them, you got warm and fuzzy. You know that puppy love stage? That's oxytocin. So oxytocin is released during that puppy love stage. Oxytocin is released during orgasm, so during lovemaking. Oxytocin is released. Oxytocin, though, in the role of reproductive health, we primarily hear about it as causing contractions in labor. So when a woman's body goes through the process of pregnancy, there are various hormone surges that happen that require the woman to mentally and emotionally deal with these changes in perspective and priorities. But we, child just interrupt us once again for a change. There is something that definitely happens to women when they do not go through this natural hormone process. The greatest surge of oxytocin will happen for women immediately following the vaginal birth of their children. What does this oxytocin do in those moments? That oxytocin bonds that mother-baby dyad together for life and after life and after life. Those two souls are irrevocably connected, as they are the generations of women that have born children before them. When a woman does not go through that surge of love, bonding, connection, hormones, and has to care for a very, very needy infant through difficult situations and has to risk life and limb to protect that child. When a woman does not go through that, there is something that happens that makes her different. And Kamala Harris has that level of different. She does not have the kind of warmth and kindness that I would want in someone who's going to make decisions for me and my children. Because mark my words, when they kick Joe down the steps, he has an accident, he dies of COVID, whatever it is that's going to happen and Kamala takes over, I guarantee one of the first things she's going to do is mandate the you-know-whats. Pew, pew. 2 of them now, huh? Okay. How can she do this? How can she mandate such a thing? Because she has no compassion, because she hasn't gone through motherhood. She hasn't gone through the bonding, the loving, the sacrifice. She can't begin to imagine what it's like. This is the difference between women that have had children and women that haven't. So go ahead, send your hate mail to idon'tcare.com. It just is what it is. I don't think, Ashley, come on in, babe. What do you need, honey? I don't think that women who don't have children are the same as others. Ash, you coming or what? Oh, I didn't need anything. I just wanted to interrupt you. I just wanted to interrupt you while you were in the middle of a big train of thought that you planned out for hours. Good Lord, these come in. What do you need? A bottle of water. Okay, you literally had to walk past the area where we always keep the bottles of water to come up here to ask me for a bottle of water. Okay? I'm tired. Okay? I'm tired. I am going to just read a few more paragraphs from here. I don't want to go too long. We're already at the half-hour mark. I am apparently using $10 as my bookmark, so I feel like I am just like rolling in the dough right now because I don't ever keep cash on me. But whatever, it's fine. So yesterday we kind of, we skipped ahead a little bit and we read some sections from, I think it was page 27, 28-ish. And it was in regards to Kamala Harris and her issues. The issue of her kind of burying the Catholic Church seemingly, allegedly, potentially, hypothetically burying the priest's sex abuse scandal that her predecessor had worked years and years on, buried that story seemingly for campaign contributions, which she received from the Catholic Church, despite not being Catholic, being actively Hindu, following her mother's faith. Which is not a judgment. I'm just saying, like, it's weird. It would be like if I ran for office and a mosque gave me money. Why? I've never been to a mosque. I don't know. But like we're all cool because like she's going to be the first female president and stuff. Great. Sure. Harris's actions were strange because they ran contrary to her public image as a fighter for victims, particularly children. Her decision regarding the diocese abuse record set off a chain reaction among those trying to bring light to the widespread abuse that was taking place. James Jenkins, a psychologist who is the founding chairman of the Archdiocese Independent Review Board, was offering oversight on how to handle abuse claims, abruptly resigned from the board. He accused the church. Where are we? Sorry, I lost my place. He accused the church of deception, manipulation, and control. Quote, deception, manipulation, and control right here. Okay. For blocking the release of the board's findings. Jenkins argued that Harris's deal with the archdiocese not only denied the rights of known victims, it also prevented other possible cases from coming forward. And you know what? That is it. When victims of sex abuse consider coming forward to police, whether it is immediately following their assault, if it was let's say a isolated incident, whether it's immediately following something like that, particularly if it is a date rape or an acquaintance rape situation, they do take these things into consideration, that prosecutors are willing to bury cases if so-and-so knows the right person or has enough money or can make a big enough campaign contribution. Sex abuse victims, if they have even done a basic Google search, know that there's a rather invasive physical sexual assault exam that happens. There are specimens collected. The thought of that is pretty horrific for someone that has already had to endure the sexual abuse from the perpetrator. So then that is also weighed with the potential possibility that the perpetrator would just walk anyway. Really the likelihood, because in many cases it's he said, she said, and short of very convincing evidence, it's really hard to get a conviction. And then you get a conviction and they barely get a hard sentence. And then they're released again to abuse victims again and again and again and again. Now, when we're talking about childhood sexual abuse, it's even worse because, a child is developing their own sexual identity in that time. So to rob the child of the process of developing that independently and not on their own totally, but I mean, obviously with a partner, if we're talking about sexual development, but to not have the opportunity to, let's say, grow through that sexual maturation in an independent way, in a really emotionally healthy way. And abusers are really good at picking their victims. And really Harris sold all of these people out, right? I mean, she sold all of these kids, all of their families out. It's really tough. Jenkins argued that Harris's deal with the Archdiocese not only denied the rights of known victims, it also prevented other possible cases from coming forward. Absolutely. If the names of priests who had faced credible charges were released, he said, it would, quote, encourage other victims to come forward with their stories. Usually people who do these things have multiple offenses, usually with multiple victims. The rule of thumb is I didn't know this. The rule of thumb is there are 7 more victims for everyone who comes forward. Now, that's not my claim. That's an interesting claim, and I don't know where that comes from. So I'm going to have to look that up because I've never heard it before. One of the things I'm going to push this up to the camera. So this is page 29. Is it backwards for you guys? I think for some of you it might be. Anyway, this is page 29, and there is a citation here. He cites all of his statistics. Oh, come on, pick me up. I'm going to get my finger out of the way. Hopefully it'll pick it up then. Come on. Change your focus. He cites he cites almost every claim that he makes. And like we said at the beginning, there's 100 pages at the end of this book that is just the references that he puts into the book. So, okay. It would encourage other victims, quote, would encourage other victims to come forward with their stories. Usually people who do these things have multiple offenses, usually with multiple victims. The rule of thumb is there are 7 more victims for every one who comes forward. Now, they're talking specifically about the church sex abuse scandal. They're not talking, I don't believe, about, let's say, sexual assault by, let's say, even a known or an unknown perpetrator. Transparency tends to embolden victims. Statistical evidence from the Archdiocese confirms the view that releasing the names of accused priests led to an increase in the number of victims bringing charges. A good example of this is in Los Angeles, where District Attorney Steve Cooley ignored the church's cry to hide the report and did the opposite of Kamala Harris. He released the records. According to SNAP, this led to more than 211 self-reported or litigation-revealed abusers being named in the Los Angeles Archdiocese. In San Francisco, there were only 36, according to a lawsuit filed in 2012. So what happened to these abuse records? It is unclear. In April 2020, a journalist with the San Francisco Weekly asked for the records through California's Public Records Act. Harris's office denied the request, offering conflicting explanations as to why they could not provide them. And there's a reference source for that. In 2019, I requested those records through a California attorney. I'm assuming being Peter Schweitzer. I requested those records through a California attorney. The San Francisco District Attorney's Office responded that they no longer had them in their possession. Were they destroyed? Were they moved somewhere else? It remains a disturbing mystery. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my God. Beyond the handling of these abuse records, Harris also had an abysmal record in prosecuting priest cases. She somehow served as San Francisco District Attorney from 2004 to 2011, then as California Attorney General from 2011 to 2017, and never brought a single documented case forward against an abusive priest. Cited. Another citation. It is an astonishing display of inaction given the number of cases brought in other parts of the country. To put this lack of action in perspective, at least 50 other cities charged priests in sexual abuse cases during her tenure as San Francisco District Attorney. San Francisco is conspicuous by its absence. We're almost done, guys. We're wrapping it up. The blind eye to priest sexual abuse was just part of a pattern of favoritism that has permeated Harris's career as a prosecutor. Though not as dramatic as the sexual crimes, there were numerous instances where she was apparently prepared to look the other way to protect politically connected insiders. I just said that. Man, I'd have to do like a private live stream to even get into all of that. All right. Her last paragraph, only a sentence, and then we're going to wrap it up. Her actions represent the ultimate form of leveraging power in the criminal justice realm, deciding not to pursue criminal charges. So she is certainly no friend of childhood sexual abuse victims by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't sound like she is the friend of anyone who's been victimized by someone who is politically connected. Not that any politically connected man would ever take advantage of his position in such a way. There's so many citations here that I don't even know where to begin. My opinion of her just continues to get worse and worse. I don't know if that's going to change at all. I am looking forward to reading the rest of the book, catching up a little bit on it this weekend. I hope to come back again live when my kids go back to school on Monday. Monday afternoon would be the best time for all of us and hopefully for all of you. And I hope to see you then. Thanks for your time, guys, and for watching. I appreciate it so much. Take it easy. Bye.